Welcome to the Security Brief for Week 41. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and share this news. To our first story, ADT, the security company that's ironically been hacked twice in 2 months, suffered a breach after some third-party business partner let their credentials wander off. Hackers strolled into ADT's systems, snatched encrypted employee account data, and left. ADT, of course, hit the panic button, shutting down everything like it's their first day on the job. They're now working with cybersecurity experts and federal law enforcement to figure out how bad they screwed up this time. And no customer data was touched, allegedly. While the company has not yet identified any group responsible for this breach, this attack follows an earlier incident in August where approximately 30,800 customer records, including emails, addresses, and product details, were leaked on a hacking forum. This second breach has prompted ADT to enhance its countermeasures, and although their investigation is ongoing, there is no current indication that customers' security systems or personal data were involved. The company insists it's got everything under control and is collaborating with their compromised partner to mitigate risks. Translation: patch the holes and hope it doesn't happen again next week. Good job, ADT. 2 hacks in 2 months, you're on fire. Maybe take your own security advice next time. Moving on. We now have confirmation that MoneyGram hackers stole customer data in a cyberattack in September that compromised customer data and caused a 5-day outage. The breach, which occurred between September 20th and 22nd, involved the theft of sensitive customer information, including names, contact details, government IDs, social security numbers, and transaction data. The attack, initiated through social engineering, allowed hackers to access MoneyGram's network by impersonating an employee. Investigations are ongoing with the help of cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike, but no group has claimed responsibility yet. Moving on, in a series of calculated cybersecurity incidents, tech giant Casio has been hit with multiple attacks. Over the weekend, Casio experienced a significant network breach, causing widespread IT system failures. Hackers exploited vulnerabilities in Casio's systems, leading to disruptions across several services. Just days later, it was confirmed that customer data, including personal and government ID details, was stolen in a ransomware attack. Adding to the crisis, an underground ransomware group has claimed responsibility and leaked some of the stolen data online. The leaked information includes sensitive customer records, potentially leading to identity theft. Casio has initiated an emergency response, working with cybersecurity experts and law enforcement to mitigate the damage. The company is now faced with restoring services while safeguarding against further attacks. This marks a challenging period for Casio, as it deals with both the internal fallout from the breach and the potential harm to its customers. The investigation is ongoing, and Casio is ramping up efforts to secure its network and notify affected individuals. You see, even calculators aren't safe from hackers. Moving on, in a highly sophisticated cyberattack, an advanced persistent threat, APT group known as Golden Jackal, has successfully breached air-gapped government systems in Europe. This attack will take your breath away. The breach, which occurred between May 2022 and March 2024, involved the use of custom malware designed to steal highly sensitive data such as emails, encryption keys, and documents. Air-gapped systems, typically isolated from open networks, were compromised through infected USB drives that transferred malware like Golden Dealer and Golden Howl to offline computers. Golden Jackal's attacks were aimed at espionage, specifically targeting government and diplomatic entities. Investigations by cybersecurity firm ESCT revealed that the malware was used to steal files, including VPN configurations and certificates from these air-gapped systems. The stolen data was then exfiltrated when infected USB drives were reconnected to internet-enabled devices. This breach marks a concerning escalation in the use of sophisticated malware to penetrate systems previously considered secure. Golden Jackal's ability to develop custom malware and refine its attack methods over time poses a significant threat to global cybersecurity, especially in critical governmental operations. Breathtaking. Moving on, Marriott International has agreed to pay a $52 million settlement following a series of major data breaches that compromised the personal information of millions of customers worldwide. The settlement comes after years of investigation into multiple security incidents, including one involving its subsidiary, Starwood Hotels. The first breach dates back to 2014, when the payment card data of about 40,000 individuals was exposed, and Starwood failed to detect it until 2015. A much larger breach occurred in 2018, where hackers gained access to nearly 340 million guest records, including sensitive information like unencrypted passport numbers. The investigation also revealed that these breaches were exacerbated by Marriott's acquisition of Starwood, during which time several security gaps remained unaddressed. The FTC, alongside 49 U.S. states, led the inquiry and pointed out critical flaws in Marriott's data security practices. These included insufficient password management, poor access controls, outdated software, and inadequate monitoring of its systems. Despite these issues, Marriott has not admitted liability but has committed to revamping its data security practices. The company has agreed to implement a comprehensive security program, allow customers to request deletion of their personal data, and ensure third-party assessments of their security systems over the next 20 years. In addition to the $52 million fine, Marriott has also committed to restoring any loyalty points stolen as a result of the breaches and will now limit how long they retain personal information from customers. New York and Ohio, two of the most affected states, will receive significant portions of the settlement, with New York getting $2.3 million. This settlement is part of a broader push by federal and state authorities to hold corporations accountable for their data protection responsibilities in an age of increasingly frequent cyber attacks. Marriott says it is already implementing many of the necessary improvements and assures its guests that protecting their personal data remains a top priority. On to our next news story. A new automated scanner has been developed to detect Linux and UNIX servers vulnerable to a critical CUPS remote code execution RCE flaw, CVE 2024-47176. Discovered by Simone Margratelli and expanded upon by Akamai, this vulnerability allows attackers to exploit CUPS browsed services. The flaw stems from the CUPS browsed service binding its control port, UDP 631, to all network interfaces, exposing it to the internet or local network. Attackers can send unauthenticated commands to these systems. Hutchins Scanner uses a Python script to scan networks, sending broadcast requests to vulnerable instances and logging those that respond. The risk extends beyond remote code execution. Akamai's analysis shows the vulnerability can amplify DDoS attacks by 600x. System administrators can use the results from the scanner to prioritize patching or reconfiguration efforts to mitigate the risk. The scanner sends custom UDP packets across the network range, asking CUPS instances to report back to the scanner's HTTP server. Devices running vulnerable versions respond, and the scanner logs the results for analysis, allowing administrators to take targeted actions to fix the exposed services. Although the full impact of the flaw depends on the network's configuration, it highlights the importance of securing even internal services like CUPS that may be reachable within local networks or, in some cases, from the internet. Moving on, pro-Ukrainian hacktivist group Dump Forums has claimed responsibility for a recent cyber attack on Russian cybersecurity firm Dr.Web. During this time, they exfiltrated a massive 10 terabytes of data, including sensitive materials from GitLab, email communications, and internal development platforms. Dr.Web was forced to disconnect its systems, halting virus database updates. The company denies that any customer data was compromised and refuses to negotiate with the attackers. Russian law enforcement is now investigating the incident, while Dump Forums claims the attack was politically motivated in support of Ukraine. Dr.Web, a major player in Russian cybersecurity, plays a key role in protecting critical infrastructure and businesses across the country. This breach, therefore, poses significant concerns about the state of cybersecurity and the implications for Russian enterprises. Reports indicate that the hackers had access to vital development tools, and the sheer volume of stolen data raises fears of potential leaks or disruptions to future product releases. Despite Dr.Web's assurances that customer data remains secure, the incident showcases the growing cyber warfare between pro-Ukrainian hacktivists and Russian entities amidst the ongoing conflict. Further investigations will likely provide more insights into the extent of the damage, as both Dr.Web and Russian law enforcement work to understand the full scale of the breach. Moving on, Palo Alto Networks has issued an urgent alert regarding multiple high-risk vulnerabilities discovered in their Expedition migration tool. These vulnerabilities, tracked as CVE 2024-9463 through CVE 2024-9467, can lead to the hijacking of firewall systems, giving attackers unauthorized access to sensitive information like user credentials, API keys, and firewall configurations. The flaws, which include command injection, SQL injection, and cross-site scripting, are particularly concerning due to the public availability of proof-of-concept exploits. Palo Alto strongly urges all users to update to Expedition version January 2, 96 immediately. These vulnerabilities were initially discovered in late 2024, and since then, cybersecurity researchers have warned about their severe potential impact. The flaws can be exploited remotely, making them especially dangerous in unpatched systems where attackers could gain complete control over affected networks. Palo Alto Networks has stressed the importance of immediate patching to avoid exploitation, as attackers could leverage these vulnerabilities to launch broader cyber attacks, including further exploitation of compromised systems. With public exploits available, organizations that rely on Palo Alto firewalls are at heightened risk if they fail to apply the security updates. This breach highlights the critical importance of securing enterprise firewalls and maintaining up-to-date software. Palo Alto continues to work closely with cybersecurity experts to assess the impact and provide ongoing support for affected users. Moving on, the Internet Archive, home to the Wayback Machine, has been rocked by a major cyber attack affecting over 31 million users. The attack occurred in late September 2024 when a hacker managed to exfiltrate a database containing 6.4 GB of sensitive user data. The stolen information includes email addresses, usernames, and bcrypt hashed passwords. The breach was publicly exposed when the hacker triggered a JavaScript alert on the site. Additionally, the platform was hit by a DDoS attack, claimed by the hacktivist group Black Meta. The Internet Archive is currently working with cybersecurity experts to contain the situation. Their priority is securing systems, preventing further data leakage, and notifying affected users. At this point, it's unclear how the hacker gained access, but the breach highlights vulnerabilities even in major online platforms. This incident raises critical concerns over how digital archives protect user information, especially when they handle such large amounts of data across millions of accounts. The Internet Archive is known for preserving websites, books, and multimedia, making this breach a significant blow to its reputation. Moving on to the last story, the recent data breach at Fidelity Investments, which affects over 77,000 customers, is significant given the company's size and influence in the financial services industry. The breach occurred between August 17 and 19, 2024, when an attacker exploited 2 customer accounts to access personal information. Fidelity quickly terminated the breach upon discovery and launched an investigation with external security experts. Despite the breach, Fidelity assures that no actual customer accounts were accessed and only personal identifiers were exposed. However, the exact details of what information was stolen have not been fully disclosed. In response, Fidelity is offering affected individuals 2 years of free credit monitoring and identity restoration services through TransUnion. This breach highlights the ongoing risks financial institutions face and the importance of customers remaining vigilant against potential fraudulent activity. Regularly reviewing financial statements and credit reports is crucial to preventing identity theft. That's it for this week's news. Which story did you find most interesting, or any story that you wish was included? Make sure you comment under. Make sure to subscribe, and I see you soon.